Hey, grade 7s. Everyone look tough. Look tough. Hey, grade 7s. Welcome here. Today we've got a lesson on the center of gravity and how to make a solid structure that's not just going to fall over on you, right? When we're building structures, the most important thing, safety first. That's why we're all wearing our
hats.
Hard hats. Okay?
Yeah.
Safety first, right, Natalie? Yeah, we gotta be safe. Wear your protective gear. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Well, it's the second most important thing. Hard hats.
Hard hats.
Safety is 1 and 2. Both of the most important things are your safety. Don't do something if you're not comfortable with it. Wear the right gear. Don't go into a situation if you don't think it's safe. All right, today's lesson is on center of gravity. We've got a bunch of challenges for you. First challenge is coming up. All right, our first center of gravity challenge. Are you ready, Joshua? Okay, to start, bend down and touch your toes. Now hold on to your toes. Okay, are you holding on to them? Don't let go. Now jump forward. Don't let go of your toes. Nope, you let go of your toes. Don't let go of your toes. Can you jump forward?
No.
All right, for this challenge, you gotta sit with your back against the chair, feet down. Okay, now without leaning forward, stand up. No, you lean forward, sit back down. Good try. Now don't lean forward and stand up. Okay, for this one, you gotta put your foot against the wall and your shoulder against the wall.
Yeah.
And then what?
Then try to lift up your arm.
Lift up this foot
Yeah.
and hold it up.
Hold it up.
But I can't take my hip off the wall. It's impossible. Can you do it?
No.
All right, for this activity, you need 2 forks, a toothpick, an optional lighter that you don't have to have. We don't need to burn anything, but if you've got supervision, remember, safety first, you need supervision if you're gonna use fire, but it's cool. And you need a cup, okay? Tall is probably good. I'm using a taller cup, okay? If you don't have a lighter, if you might have the ability to shoot fire out your finger, that would work too. Okay, what you're gonna do is we're gonna do a center of gravity trick. You take your 2 forks and you jam them together, okay? You're gonna have to push pretty hard. You need it so that the friction between the 2 forks is enough so that just holding one fork, the other one could balance off the side, okay? Now that's not that cool. Before we move further, let's think about the center of gravity, okay? And so if we got 2 forks together, you could probably balance the forks on your finger. Now is that cool? No, not really. It's not really cool. Like, it makes sense, right? How do you balance something? Well, you balance something as long as there's as much weight on that side as there is on that side. I can't balance it over here, right? That doesn't work. You've got to balance things by putting your finger in the middle. And that's not that complicated. Now, it'd be really cool.
It's not that cool.
That is not that cool. It'd be really cool if we could balance this on the toothpick. And if you took enough time, I bet you could probably do it. Now, I don't want to take that much time. Almost, but not quite. Now, that would be kind of cool, but we're going to do something cooler. And so, but when we talk about center of gravity, we're thinking, okay, we just need as much weight on that side as that side, okay? But now we're going to jam these forks together, and we're going to do something cool with center of gravity. So like I said, you should be able to hold one fork with the other, and now you take this toothpick and put it between the prongs, like so that the forks, you got to do a bit of playing around, so that the forks will stay stationary And this, you want it kind of touching both of the forks back there. Oh no, I broke my toothpick. Okay, I've got my new toothpick. I have to go find one. Sorry I didn't give you toothpicks. I thought that you would have forks and toothpicks at your house, and if you don't, watching this video is fine. Okay, so you jam the forks together, and you've got to put this toothpick between the forks in such a way that the forks aren't moving and it's touching, you want it touching both. And what you're going to find is you've got this really cool thing now where you can feel that the toothpick is somehow holding the weight of both of the forks. And you can balance both forks on your finger just like that. Now that is a little bit more cool than what we had before. And if you are even more adventurous, you can take this toothpick that you've got here and you can place it on the cup. And you can have the cup holding these two forks up just by touching the toothpick. So you're balancing two forks on a cup, on a toothpick, on a cup, just like that. And if you can see, the forks are not touching the ground, they're not touching the cup, they're just balancing on the toothpick. That is really cool. And now we think about center of gravity. What is happening here? Okay, well, the center of gravity means it must be balanced on this point. That means there's as much weight on that side as there is on that side. And why this is such a cool trick is it just seems like it's impossible at the center. How could we get so lucky that the center of gravity is right there and it wasn't even that hard to put it down? How do we get so lucky? Well, what happens is because these forks stretch out this way, as the center of gravity, if the center of gravity is too far on this side, right, then the forks are going to tilt this way, and the center of gravity, which was over here, is going to kind of slowly shift this way until it finds the perfect balance. Okay, so even if we move this a little out, you're going to see the forks are going to move a bit, but it's going to find a new center of gravity. It's going to shift the way it's sitting so that the center of gravity is just perfect. And so this cool shape is so cool because you can pick up these two forks and balance them on a toothpick, and it's going to adjust its center of gravity so that it is right at the right spot. Now, I know you're all wondering, where does the fire come in? Now, this is a really cool part. Because of the pressure of all the forks are coming down on the toothpick. I'm playing with this too much. Are coming down on the toothpick at a certain point, and that pressure makes that wood a bit more difficult to burn. And so, if you start burning the toothpick at this end, you'll see that flame go until it hits the point where all the pressure is on the toothpick. And it is tough. Wood gets tougher when it's under stress. It won't burn. It'll just go out right at that point. And then you can flick it off. And there it is. You've got this thing and you've got the precise point. That is the point at which all of the weight of these two forks and the toothpick is on that one point right there. That's cool, hey Josh?
Yeah.
It's just sitting there. Well. It's pretty stable. It's unbelievable. Like, obviously, it couldn't take an earthquake. You could break it pretty easy, but that is pretty cool stuff. And so the big idea is, this is the center of gravity. The center of gravity of this one fork would be somewhere about there. But this system together, the center of gravity is kind of in this weird spot, right? Where there might not be anything there, but yet that's the center of gravity. Okay, and in this case, the center of gravity is right at that point on that toothpick. All right. Now, is this a strong structure? No. Boom. That was not hard. This cup is much stronger. I can flick the cup, but even this is not a very strong structure because the center of gravity of the cup. Where do you think the center of gravity of the cup is? Probably like right there, right in the middle of the cup, right about closer to the bottom. But not very high up. Now, would this cup be stronger if it was this way? Yeah, definitely. How come the cup is harder to knock over when this cup is upside down?
Oh no.
Because it's got a wider base. Okay, so we're going to learn two main things about center of gravity. You need your center of gravity over top of your base for you to be strong. If we tilt this, the center of gravity is still over top of the base, it's going to come back down. We tilt it, it's still over the top. Once you tilt it, you can feel that once you've tilted it further, you can feel that now it wants to fall. The center of gravity is shifting off the base, then it's going to fall. The center of gravity is still on the base, it'll stay standing. Let's do another example about that. Our challenge here is to make as tall a tower as possible, but we can only have a base this wide. Okay? Here we go.
Go. Oh, is it gonna fall over? Is it gonna fall over? Fall over!
Huh?
This is as tall as I can
Oh.
see it. Is it gonna fall over? Is it gonna fall over? How tall is it? There. You can't even see the top.
Can't see the top?
Not it. Can't see the top.
Can't see the top?
Not again.
Okay, so we've got a nice tall tower. You can see that this is flimsy. This thing is super close to falling over. It wouldn't take much to topple it. Why would it be so easy to topple this tower? Okay, here's what our lesson on center of gravity is all about. The center of gravity is somewhere around here. It's right in the middle, okay? And it's got to be on top of the base, okay? So the lesson is, if you want a structure to stay standing, the center of gravity has to be on top of the base. Okay? Why is this so easy to topple over? Because if this thing leans even a little bit, okay, where is the center of gravity now? Maybe like right here, and this is off the base. Okay? And that means it is going to fall. It's going to fall. So a tall tower with a small base, if it's here, even though it is curving, it's not so tall, the center of gravity is above the base somewhere, okay?
Yeah, so it's just bending, I see.
It's just bending a little bit, but it's not so tall, and the center of gravity is still above the base, right?
Only if it's so tall, it'll
Once-
just bend and
Right.
Once it's just hanging even a little bit, then fall.
That's right. Once it's hanging enough that the center of gravity is off the base, it is going to fall. And it's game over, okay? So your goal is always to have a structure where the center of gravity is above the base. So we've got ways around it to make our structure stronger, okay? How do we make our structure stronger?
Just if we get not only one pieces.
This is going to be much easier. We have a wider base, right? If you have a wider base, you can automatically keep your center of gravity a lot above taller. And you can see this is just way easier for me to build this now. I'm not struggling with it because the base is wider. If I push it over a bit, well, now it's falling over this base, but it can handle quite a bit more because the base is now this big, as long as the center of gravity is above this base. Now, that's if this was rigid and connected. It could still break here, right? It broke here this time. And so if we had tape it all together, it could flex quite a bit. As long as the center of gravity is above the base, then we're good. So if we want a stronger structure, okay. All right. Let's think about basketball a little bit. If you play basketball, this will make sense. If you don't, imagine. If I keep my feet like that, stay here. If I keep my feet like this and push me this way, it's tough for me to keep my balance. If I look to keep something like this. My 3-year-old son is a typical ready position. Much stronger than me, right? Because try to push me against. I'm going to spread my feet spread out. Okay. We've got a wide base, so our center of gravity is above our base. And even if the shift over this big center of gravity, right? Our base. And so if your feet are wider apart, you're much more stable structure. So if you want stability, you've got to have a wide base. Now there's one other thing that we do when we get stable. Okay? It's not just about having a wide base. This makes it a lot easier to be stable. The other thing we do is we bend our knees and we get our weight down low. We get our weight low. The closer our center of gravity is to the ground, the more stable it is. Okay? So if you imagine, you can have a wide base, but if you're holding a big, heavy ball, if you're holding a big heavy ball up above you, right, and you lean, this is going to topple you like crazy. Whereas if the weight can be down here, you've got a lot more leeway. You want your weight low, you don't want the weight super high. It's going to be easy to topple in. So we want our center of gravity low, and we want a wide base. Those are the two really important things when building a structure if you want it to be stable. Center of gravity, you want it low, and you want wide base. All right? So that brings us to one of our challenges for today. When you're done, put your pictures on the Padlet. Now I'm going to set up on the classroom. One of our challenges for today is coolest looking structure. Try to be creative. Use something that no one else is thinking. Can you build? Make it cool with something like Mega Blocks or Lego or just books. Whatever your parents allow you to use.
For the second challenge, your goal is to create a structure so that it reaches off the edge of, say, a table.
Wide base.
Okay? And it is suspending a
Put the
piece
weight down
of
low,
whatever you're building
so that
with
holds it down
completely
and
off
keeps
the
it
table.
super
Okay, so if you
stable.
look at this one,
Make
this
sure it's got a
yellow
wide
piece
base
is
so
vertically
that it sways a bit,
completely
center of
off
gravity
of this
stays
table.
over top.
All right?
Okay.
And if we let it go, our goal is that it will stay. Okay, hopefully yours is better than that. Remember, your goal is you want a wide base and you need your center of gravity above your base. So make sure your center of gravity is above your base. Try it out. Nice hat, Natalie.
Thanks for playing around with me today, you guys. I'm really excited about this structures unit. Remember, safety first. Don't get hurt while you're making these structures, but have some fun. Build something really cool, share it with your friends. It's going to be fun. We'll see you guys later.